So I am just getting off the train here in Newark, New Jersey, and there's a water crisis. That's why I'm here.
If you Google Newark Water Crisis, you'll see that it began in 2016. That's when Newark Public Schools shut down 30 schools' water fountains because of elevated lead levels and began testing students for lead. But really, I found that lead in Newark water dates back to as far as 2003, when the city passed up the EPA's help. In 2017, citywide testing reported over 10% of homes had lead levels at least 27 parts per billion, which is nearly twice the federal limit at which action must be taken, 15 parts per billion. One home even tested at over 8 times the federal limit.
A water emergency in New Jersey's largest city.
City officials have distributed water filters since then, but the EPA now says those filters may not be effective enough.
Governor, on the water crisis again. The EPA offered to come in and help in 2003, and the school district turned down their help back then. Will you and the state and the school district be accepting their help now?
Absolutely no idea. If we need it, I'm sure we'll accept it.
What are we gonna drink?
I don't know, honey.
Maybe.
This 4-year-old boy tested positive for lead, says his mother. She's fed up with what she feels is a lack of urgency.
This is just frustrating.
Lead in water can be especially harmful to children as it can result in brain damage as well as issues with their nervous system. Generally, over time, lead can cause high blood pressure, kidney damage, and stillbirths. The National Resources Defense Council, or NRDC, puts it simply, there is no safe level of lead exposure. This is an issue that still needs fixing, so in January, Jaden Smith's organization 501c3 and Complex teamed up to provide a second water box for the Newark Water Coalition, an organization working to provide clean water for their community and so much more.
Jaden, yes. This place is beautiful.
Yes, this is the Holistic Wellness Center, FEM-founded, youth-led, and community-funded.
I'm one of the co-founders of the Newark Water Coalition, so we look for different partners to bring our water boxes to, and thankfully the Alkaline Express allowed us to bring the Complex box here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how was that? I mean, that just recently happened, right? What was that like? I heard Jaden Smith was here. A lot going on for you guys.
So I'm an organizer, activist. So for me, a lot of the work is just like put my head down. People need water. And so when we partnered with 501c3, and they're like, hey, we're gonna have a flight to New York, so we want to get Jaden out there. We want him to visit the distribution centers. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then
that's kind of cool.
That's
more about the work.
Exactly. And so the next thing you know, you have like Jaden Smith on South 11th Street in Newark, and you're just like, this is surreal. Will Smith's son is here. Like Jaden Smith, it's like it's this disconnect from like reality and perception. But you know what? I have to honestly say he's such a nice man, such a humble dude, and one of the things that I was telling him is like, yo, we're so grateful that you trust us. You believe in this like ragtag group of volunteers with this $50,000 piece of equipment. And so we were like very, very thankful. This is the water box given to us by Complex Magazine, Newark Water Coalition. It's one of the newer boxes. Like, I love this. This is pretty dope.
I mean, so modern.
Yes. The other one is a little different, but this one is really dope. Go ahead, fill it up. Yeah.
So 28 plastic bottles saved so far.
And that's just on this. I don't have the formula on me, but I know in the St. Stephen's box we've pumped out 3,000 gallons, so that's 20,000 single bottles saved. Before, when we used to distribute water, it was like cases of water from ShopRite, Poland Spring, and now we don't have to worry about that. Now the box is here, and it's just like pump out as much water as possible.
So that's the impact, being able to just keep going.
Exactly.
There's never we don't have enough.
The only thing we run out of time is jugs. Yeah.
So where do you get those from? You guys?
So 501c3 gives us an allotment of jugs a month, and we just, we give them out. So the purpose is we want people to bring their own jugs or come back with the jugs, but sometimes things happen. This is our pressure system. This is a 5-micron filter, a 1-micron filter. So if you know the KN95 masks, they have micron filters in them, like the particle filters. So this is a 5, a 1. This is a regular carbon filter, and then we have a UV light filter. And then this right here tells us how many gallons. So 1,400 gallons distributed already. January 18th, MLK Day was the first day we had the water box here. So we've only, and I'm telling you, what's phenomenal is we're at 1,400 gallons in a month and a half. And so in the lifespan of the Newark Water Coalition, when we didn't have the water boxes, it took us, we've distributed over 10,000 gallons, but you're talking about over the course of almost 2 years. So in a month and a half, we did 1,400 gallons. That's a very big deal for us because we would have never been able to do that without the water box. So I want to say on average, every weekend between our both distribution sites, we probably service 350 families at max. In the summertime, because obviously people are drinking more water, we were doing like 400 out of one site and 100 out of another site. So we're going to see it pick up. And when we have stories like this, or, we're in Complex magazine, we had some folks today come in, just take pictures with the box. So it's a really cool thing.
Another update in the water crisis is that earlier this year there was a settlement in the case of the NRDC and the Newark Education Workers Caucus suing the city of Newark and the state of New Jersey in the summer of 2018 for their violations of the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act and for their lack of speed in response to the crisis. The agreement requires the city to continue to expedite lead service line replacements. This was at least one way lead made its way into the water, old pipes. At least one point during the pandemic, they were replacing around 40 to 50 a day. Right now, they're at 99% completion, out of what the city says is 18,000 lines that need to be replaced. They also have to provide free water testing, filters, and replacement cartridges to those eligible, as well as educate the community.
Honestly, this is how I feel about the court system or the justice system. It's like, we still have the same issues with, in terms of like police brutality. You can have all the laws in the books, you can have justice in court, but that doesn't mean you have justice in the streets. It doesn't mean you have justice in reality. And there's such a disconnection between the perception of what's going on and the reality of the situation. And I think, it's great. It's a great thing. We essentially won, even though it's a settlement. But at the same time, as you can see, people are still here asking for clean water. So there's a disconnect, right? You can have that justice, but here, if people are still needing, these provisions to be provided, then did we really win? Are we really winning out here? And I don't want to be cynical. I just want to be practical. And I want to say the work hasn't stopped for us, and it will not stop.
And that's not only because the community needs it, it's because they trust it when it comes straight from the community.
You folks came for water? Yeah. Here you go, free water. Just grab and go today. Very easy. Every Saturday from 11 to 2. You want water? Here you go, grab and go.
Thank you.
Every Saturday, come back, refill the jugs from 11 to 2 p.m.
Okay, bring it back with me Saturday and
yep.
fill it up. Okay.
And we fill it up.
All right, thank you, brother.
No problem.
The theme for this year's World Water Day today is, what does water mean to you?
Yeah, it says agua es vida in Spanish. Water, it's so hard because, for me, I've turned into almost looking at water in a spiritual kind of way. Every day I shower at night and I have a routine now. I have a very specific routine of washing the energies off of my body, purifying, cleansing my spirit with this water. And if I don't think it's clean, if I don't think I can trust it, that whole routine changes. My whole sense of being changes. So for me,
good to get it. Don't worry.
I don't. Okay. So for me,
it's probably just nonstop, but it's important work. It's important work.
I know. I'm just. That's the thing is. So it's back to yeah. And so for me, it's this fundamental understanding, water is literally the basis of everything that we do. We don't think about cooking with it. We don't think about turning that faucet on. We just, we drink it. I'll buy a bottle of Poland Spring. I'll buy a bottle. But what if you couldn't? Our whole life would change. Everything would change. So getting involved in this struggle, I have essentially found my calling is to be a water protector. And that has just, again, it's transformed my soul and my spirit, and I'm seeing the world around me transform because of how brought in I am.
Diaz's whole life has changed because of his organizing around this crisis, and he's tatted up to prove it.
I got all of these in the last 6 months.
So that one says Newark Water Coalition.
Yeah, this is Newark Water Coalition. This one is just the X for Malcolm, and then I have a dream.
He hopes that this crisis and the work of the NWC serves as a wake-up call that there are issues like environmental racism negatively impacting the Newark community, and as an inspiring reminder to community members to go out and address them.
I think it's the problem with that box is it's one of the first designs. So you know where the extension cord gets plugged in? I'm probably going to head to the other side shortly if you want to come with me there and see what goes on there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Diaz drove me to the second location at St. Stephen's Grace Community Church in the North Ironbound section of Newark because there were issues with the first water box, which calls this church home. It's here that I got to see more examples of the Newark community showing up for the Newark community. People dropped off jugs to be filled with water, and when they were told the water box wasn't working, they were given directions and offered help to get to the other water distribution site. Some opted to just leave their jugs for when it got fixed, so the group had to get to work.
I thought he meant parallel, meaning they're not on top of each other, but maybe
he said on top of each other. You want something to eat?
That is how welcoming and kind they were, offering me a meal on their lunch order.
Hold this, bro.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hold this.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah,
Cool, thank you. Jermaine Hargrove is one of the volunteers. At just 16 years old, he says he just wants to help people.
The first time I got to help someone was a homeless person. I had lunch in my bag and I saw that he wanted food, so I just gave it to him. And that just sparked something in me that said like I want to help more people. So like a few years later, this came up. So I'm like, I want to do this. And my goal right now is just to leave my mark for this earth. So if I can do that, then that's on my bucket list. I'll just like helping people. It's like the smile on their face when you give them something. And I just want to keep spreading that. Say like, I can inspire somebody to help somebody else. Like if I help you, I could encourage you to help somebody else, and then it just spreads.
Kindness is the good kind of contagious.
Hopefully the box is finished and everything's back to normal.
Normal's a word we've heard a lot over the past year because of COVID, the contagious disease that isn't so kind. When will we get back to normal?
Yo, we got water.
Is it tilted? Are you sure?
Look, that's on.
Jermaine's asking the same question, but the normal on his mind isn't going on vacation or taking off his mask. It's just getting this water box fixed so that he can help provide what is a basic need for any community, for his community, clean water.
Water is life. That's what it is. It's like, it's just like, it's something to it. It's healthy for you, for that. I'd rather drink water a lot than soda. And yeah, we need water.
One of the things people ask me all the time is like, oh, well, once all the pipes change and everything is good, do you think like you'll stop distributing water? And I said, you know, honestly, if people keep coming, we're going to keep distributing. In my house, I know I've had my pipes changed. I have 2 filters. I still use water box water. And I have actually tested the water at my house. So I know it's fine. But, you know, it's just this concept of like, you never know. And you're like, you know, it could be fine today, bad tomorrow. And I don't want to plant those seeds of doubt, but that's literally me. And I'm like, you know, the co-founder of the Newark Water Coalition. So technically I know more about this issue than your average person.